Today, I'm going to be giving a breakdown of our first March Madness game on Thursday, the 8-seed Ohio State Buckeyes versus the 9-seed TCU Horned Frogs. Ohio State finished 8th in the Big Ten with a 21-12 record, while the TCU Horned Frogs finished 6th in the Big 12, ending with a 22-11 record. Ohio State won their first game in the Big Ten tournament against Iowa, 72-69, and then unfortunately they lost to Michigan, a 1-seed in the NCAA tournament, 71-67. Ohio State led this game in the second half with about 5 minutes to go, but unfortunately they couldn't hold on to the lead. Over to the TCU side of the ball, TCU also won their first game in the Big 12 tournament, 95-88 against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and then they fell short in the second round against Kansas, a 4-seed in this tournament, 78-73. Some matchups you might want to look at and who are their star players. For Ohio State, Bruce Doran, their guard, averaging 20.2 points a game, 3.9 assists per game, and shooting at 55.8 field goal percentage. Over for the TCU side of the ball, their star player, David Punch, a sophomore, 6'7", 249. He's a forward. He's averaging 14.3 points a game, 6.7 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per game, shooting at a 51.5 field goal percentage. Write down in the comments below what matchup you would like to see me predict next. So now I'm going to give some key factors from this game and stats that I think you should take in to see what your pick's going to be. The stats I want to talk about are their overall three-point percentage, their steals per game, points from turnovers, bench points, fast break points, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and overall points a game. Starting off with three-point percentage. This is a big thing in March Madness because as you've seen with previous teams that succeeded in March Madness, for example, Oakland, who took down number 3 seed Kentucky with Jack Golke, he was an amazing three-point percentage, and that boosted up Oakland and brought them past first round and the second round. Ohio State shoots at a 36% field goal percentage compared to TCU's 33%, giving Ohio State a slight advantage at three-point percentage. Moving over to steals per game. Ohio State averages 4.9 steals per game compared to TCU's 7.7, giving TCU a larger advantage here, which can lead to my next stat, which is points from turnovers, where TCU averages 16.14 compared to Ohio State's 13.85. So as you can see, TCU takes the ball over more and gets more points created from those turnovers. Now a big key factor I want to bring up, bench points. Bench points can be huge in March Madness. You see players come in, people get tired, foul trouble. Benches can be a huge factor in this, where TCU is averaging 32 bench points per game compared to Ohio State's only 14 bench points a game. This might be because Ohio State's players average more points. As I said earlier, Bryce Thornton averages 6 more points than David Punch, TCU's star player. So that might mean that players on Ohio State play longer and therefore get more points than their bench players. The next thing, field goal percentage. Ohio State shoots at a 49% field goal percentage compared to TCU's 45% field goal percentage. But if you look at their overall points a game, another key factor, very similar. Ohio State has 79.8 overall points per game compared to TCU's 78.9. Very similar. 1 point difference between these teams. These teams are very balanced compared, and also another factor, their opponent's points per game. Ohio State allows their opponent to get around 72 points per game compared to TCU's 71 points a game. Very similar, these teams on both sides of the ball. Now let's look at their last couple games for each teams. Ohio State's last game, as I brought up, Michigan, 71-67. That was their loss. Then you have Iowa, 72-69 win against Indiana, 91-78, win against Penn State, 94-62, and a huge win here against Purdue, who just won the Big Ten tournament. This was not in the Big Ten tournament, though. This was still in the regular season, 82-74. Those are some big games. But then you might look at a team who you might say is on the same skill level as TCU. Someone like Iowa, who Ohio State just recently played in the Big Ten tournament and won, but also on February 25th, Ohio State did get blown out by them. They losing 57-74. Another team you might compare similar to, you could say someone like Virginia, who Ohio State did have a tough loss to, 70-66. So you can see Ohio State's competing against these teams, but I would say the biggest comparison is Iowa, who they did just beat at a neutral site in the Big Ten tournament. Looking over to TCU's side of the ball, TCU in their last couple games, obviously as I said, lost to Kansas 73-78, and in the first game in their tournament against Oklahoma State 95-88, a win. Going back to their regular season, a win versus Cincinnati 73-63, a win versus Texas Tech, a 4 seed in the tournament this year, 73-65, and that was away at Texas Tech. A win at Kansas State 77-68, a win at versus Arizona State 90-78, and a win versus West Virginia 60-54. So as you can see, TCU seems like they're on a tear and they're really doing well recently. While Ohio State might be a bit more shaky. You have some bad losses in there to Iowa and a 6-point loss to Michigan State, 4-point loss to Virginia on their last couple games. So those have some question marks around it. Now for my prediction for this Ohio State versus TCU opening match in the March Madness tournament this year. My prediction is that Ohio State will win this game, and I think they're going to win it pretty comfortably. I think I could see Ohio State winning this game maybe around 71-63. A comfortable 8-point lead. Maybe TCU gets some free throws at the end to bring it a little closer. I think the factor that's going to give Ohio State an edge here is Bruce Thornton, an X factor in this March Madness tournament that could cause some damage and maybe be one of the new standouts from March Madness. I think that Ohio State's guard play is going to be a huge factor here, but I also think bigs are going to also have a nice play here. You look at someone like Ohio State with their tallest player being their 7'1" center, Ivan, and then you also have their other 7-foot center, Christopher Tilley, the senior, averaging 11 points a game with 4.7 rebounds a game. You look over at TCU, where they also have some bigs. You do not have a single 7-footer on TCU, though, with your tallest being a 6'11" center, Adam Stewart. Height is a huge factor in college basketball, where teams can get more offensive rebounds, which produce more points. I think Ohio State's going to get more offensive rebounds, which is going to come with more points. Overall, I think Ohio State will win this, and that's my prediction for this game. I would lock Ohio State to win in your bracket. Subscribe.